myself. Oh no, give me that cell. Oh, I gotta go like Cobain. 8 years to the grave, gone insane. My blood got propane. How you gon' go and throw my name with shame? Already cross-faded, making it to the disco. I hate it, and you know how this goes. You framed it, picture painted in my room. This that real life shit, none of Zoom. Got the scene in it.
Make sure you subscribe to JerCrispy.
What's up, y'all? It's your host, the most, that's the most. JerCrispy, welcome back to that video. Remember Wonder over Yonder? Shit, I remember freaking that show. You know, Wonder over Yonder. Yonder over Yonder. Yonder, move over. Yonder, yeah. You know, like, if y'all watched it was on Disney SD, bro. But make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow social media, gonna pop up on the screen. Let's see what my dog got going on here. Well, not my dog. The bro. Yeah, the bro.
Remember Wander Over Yonder? It was a 2013 Disney Channel animated series made by what many would consider a titan in the world of creating animated series. While there was a lot of talent behind the scenes and some much initial love given to the series, the journey Wander Over Yonder had on the podcast wasn't as smooth as it maybe should have been. Plus, add in the timetable of when this series came out, and it's easy to see the picture of what happened truly be painted for you. While there were also some major changes between the first and second season of the series, Wander Over Yonder is an interesting show that you could feel the veteran talent poured all over it from the production. Today, we are going to take a look at what Wander Over Yonder was all about, what happened to it, and a bunch more. Wander Over Yonder follows the space-traveling adventures of Wander, a pretty upbeat and happy fellow who, along with his trusty steed Sylvia, travel to distant worlds throughout the stars in order to help spread peace and joy to other forms of life out there. It sounds like the ultimate feel-good show and something that isn't maybe super deep or all too serious, but under the surface, the series may just surprise you with what Wander comes across, because not everyone out there wants happiness and peace, more specifically, if you are of the evil variety. It's a really nice feel-good show that at the end of the day leaves you feeling pretty good as well. Wander, voiced by Jack McBrayer, is just simply infectious with his personality and overall nature. Whether those around him love it or hate it, Wander stays true to his goal of being this beacon of nicety, who only wants to bring aid, fun, or good vibes all around to the citizens of every planet he visits. And
that's
facts. At the end of the day, the bad guys. Because, you know, what's the real reason that's making them bad? Alongside him on his journeys is Sylvia, voiced by April Winchell, who is a horse-like creature that ends up being more of a protector for Wander than anything else, if we're being honest. Why does he need protection? Well, due to his nature, he ends up getting into some sticky situations with the bad guys of the series and overall main bad guy, Lord Hater, which I know is also secretly one of you in the comments. Stop typing that message right now. I have feelings too. I'm already crying. And they're so real for making a series about a character wanting to just be happy and spread joy, only to have the antagonist be a literal hater. Now, Wander and Sylvia aren't by themselves as a dynamic duo. There is also Wander's hat, aka a magical portal of whatever the story calls for in that moment that Wander may need, regardless of whatever it is that he wants. But it's magical, and that's fun. It's an easy enough setup that invites any viewer in to have a good time and explore some imaginative worlds.
Right.
A lot of this can be attributed to the talent behind the scenes, who have a legacy of animation throughout the previous couple decades that definitely added a level of confidence to the creation of the series. So for now, let's go ahead and take a look at how Wander Over Yonder came together, what was going on behind the scenes, and ultimately what happened to the show.
Wander Over Yonder will be right back.
Hey.
We're back with Wander Over Yonder.
There's one big name that should need no introduction, that being Craig McCracken. But in favor of emphasizing who he is, Craig is also the creator of such shows like The Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Hey, two W shows.
Credits for shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Chowder, Regular Shows, and many more. He also was the creator of another series.
Yo, for real? Wait. He can't be the creator of the regular show, because it's the J dude, the J Quan dude, whatever that nigga name is.
Called called Kid
Shout out to that
Cartoon, so
dude.
stick around for that series to be talked about at some point. Anyway, Craig's body of work can all individually stand on their own when looked into, and while growing up, his work always meant a lot to me personally, especially Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Craig has mainly been someone who worked on Cartoon Network-based properties, but in 2009, Cartoon Network was in a bit of a weird state where the name Cartoon Network didn't make as much sense anymore because the network was beginning to focus on live-action shows and ideas, leading to Craig separating himself from the company because of this direction the network was going in. So after this incredible run of working on or creating series for Cartoon Network, Craig now shifted over to Disney with his creation of Wander Over Yonder. It's definitely weird to see something he made be placed on Disney when his work is so impactful and synonymous with Cartoon Network, but weird stuff like this happens all the time. Hey, at the end of the day, Craig was able to create a new series, and that by itself is amazing. Like I was saying, the series was about spreading joy, and despite people out there like Lord Hater, Wander will in fact go over yonder and spread all the goodness he can. Wander is kind of like Steven Universe in some aspects. There's a lot of hugs and maybe things can be solved that way for any of the situations, but really it's all about this unsuspecting positive personality.
I mean, you could say that, but Steven actually fought in the show. Yonder was not trying to fight on the show. If you want to say how, like, want to put that as, or he was acting like when they showed the scene of him was in jail with it, he was acting fake tough, so nobody was fucking with him.
That Wander has, and how he uses his smarts of uncovering the deeper problems at play to ultimately quote-unquote defeat the bad guy and save the day. All of this mixed now with the energy of classic Looney Tunes and inspirations of early Hanna-Barbera. It sounds like a lot to wrap into a short 11-minute segmented burst, but the speed and energy work so well as to not be overdone thanks to the great voice performances and how we can understand the deeper reasonings for the bad guy's evil actions and dealing with them in unique, creative, and genuinely fitting ways that can make you rethink certain situations entirely. Now, the first time Wander Over Yonder in general was put together originally wasn't for the series, but instead was this unfinished graphic novel called Wander Over Yonder Into the Cold Black Heart of Hate, as Wander as a character was already something Craig had some big interest in, starting somewhere around 2007 as he would start sketching him down as this nomadic person who just wanders different places, first being this cute little character that he would draw and then start selling unrelated merch at conventions, eventually leading up to it just becoming now its own series. It was funny enough, Jack McBrayer, who started to get the ball rolling with everything by being the one to reach out to Craig and wanting to meet him since he was a big fan of animation as well as Craig's work, and from there, the two hit it off and Craig instantly knew that this guy is Wander. From that moment, the character of Wander was able to be molded more and more as it grew into something that Jack and Craig were able to truly build with one another. I think what I do love the most about the show is the character of Wander and how he was written and created. Not just with how well fit Jack is in voicing the character, but with how Craig handles all of his characters in general the same way, with how they are approached and how it really shines here with Wander, giving me all the same feelings of why I like the characters from previous shows he's worked on or created. Craig works in a character-first type of way to develop great characters that the audience would love, so the secondary details like what the character is doing would just become something you'd tune into most likely anyway because you're there for the characters and whatever it is they are going to get into, not specifically for what it is they are getting into. His philosophy on how big shows like SpongeBob work so well and connect with its audience so well is because people fell in love with the characters and want to tune in because of them. It doesn't really matter what they are going to do initially. You're just there for them. Craig is really great at this and has been able to handle making the audience care about a small cast of characters all the way to a whole house filled with imaginative creatures that are all different from one another. Yet we get to understand them, care about what they care about, and see how they all interact and what they get into. But you're just there for them. Wander Over Yonder is no different when it comes to pulling you into the cast of characters we have in the series. Most importantly, finding Wander as this likable and fun enough main character who invites you into the weird worlds we travel to each episode. I do love the idea of every episode being a new planet to be explored. It harkens back to the feelings of all the creative villains we'd see in the Powerpuff Girls, and all of the new and fun imaginary friends we'd see and meet in Foster's. I'm there for who I'm there for, but all the extra new stuff we get to experience is exciting as well. There is this aura of exploration through these means without it being something that takes away focus on the characters or any plot that the episodes have. It just feels like an extra bit of fun to experience while watching the series that becomes its own background character, essentially. Honestly, I find the show extremely charming, heartfelt, and had the potential to become a massive hit for Disney that could have ran for longer than it did. Before we get into all of what happened to the series, I do want to express these personal thoughts on the show. While I don't feel as attached to the series like I did with Craig's shows while growing up with them, I still see all of the makings of what made me love and connect with his earlier work here within Wander Over Yonder. You can truly feel the passion in the work come out and how the series was crafted from conception to the screen. Each episode packs
Damn! Man, no, say, I know that dude ain't really do that cheek like this over a sock, say. Go back, say. Go back, say. Hold on, say. Man, look at this. Nigga really do cheek for a sock.
A lot within 11 minutes. So much so that it can be overwhelming in
what the fuck?
But for the most part, the series
oh god, they got a fucking train by us, man.
Action and most importantly, a cherry of heart on top to complete it. The relationship between Wander and Sylvia, while being expected due to their personalities, is still genuinely such a real and wholesome connection for the two of them as they travel the cosmos, going planet to planet together. As far as the villains in the show, Lord Hater, voiced by Keith Ferguson, does a fantastic job at showcasing how there are layers to how a bad guy character like himself operates, trying not to let Wander under his skin or succumb to the root of it all in the first place, while having to maintain this villainous stature the whole time. I think the important thing to take away from the series, or at least what I did from my time with the show, is that it's easy to fall into just being a hater, for whatever example you'd like to envision that in. But what takes genuine courage, genuine guts in this world is to be kind.
Wait, what episode was that? Hold up. Go back. What episode was this hater actually was chilling with these niggas?
Envision that in, go ahead. But what takes genuine courage, genuine...
Nigga, what episode was this?
Guts in this world is to be kind, to be strong,
never mind.
Sharing joy.
That's when he lost his mind. I think he hit his head or something.
Down, building up yourself
no,
and
I remember.
helping others is what truly will make your heart full. There always seems to be some sort of ingredients that go into the haterade of each character to show why they truly are how they are, and to understand that and not take it personal is a great lesson to learn, and the show visualizes it so well through how Wander approaches dealing with the villains. Moving ahead though, let's see how everything went with the show premiering and all that happened afterward. Well, Disney held panels related to their upcoming slate of productions, with Craig having a chance to offer the crowd a sneak peek of Wander Over Yonder much earlier than it would have technically premiered. Then, in mid-August of 2013, the first episode would premiere as a preview look at the series after Phineas and Ferb's big special Mission Marvel premiered. After this, 1 month later, on September 13th, 2013, the series would officially premiere on Disney Channel and had a lot of push behind it for it to be a big hit for the network. That sneak peek definitely had some boosted viewership thanks to Phineas and Ferb, but that premiere did well to get people interested in what Wander Over Yonder was all about. The first season did a great job at bringing people into the series, but something did happen partway through the first season that definitely can be seen as something not so great, and that's after the first 8 episodes, the remaining 13 ended up being moved from the main Disney Channel and now would then premiere on Disney XD. What caused this decision? Who knows? But Disney is always shaking things up when it comes to the programs on their network, so whatever the cause may be, there was a bit of worry as to what this meant for this new series. Eric Coleman, Disney Television Animation Senior VP of Original Series, spoke in regards to some of this by commenting on the state of the series, confirming to Variety that Wander Over Yonder will be getting a second season.
Yeah.
It was nice to hear. Things sounded like everything was going great then. Nothing to worry about as a fan. However, things may have taken a turn, and we'll get back to that shortly. But the series was going to now get this second season. That's great. Disney even had extra bits of content surrounding the series that were used as a way to promote the second season coming out through these Wander Over Yonder shorts that would start releasing the month prior to the second season starting. You'd easily think that everything is looking good and the series was making some bigger strides in the second season to incorporate more connecting bits of plot and story, but before the second season would even premiere in August of 2015, Wander Over Yonder behind the scenes was already in trouble, it seemed. While the series was seemingly doing well enough, the second season of Wander Over Yonder turned out...
The only reason why I'm laughing, bro, because I know about that episode and I know how that nigga felt.
Its last. There were some mysterious explanations as to why the series was coming to an end here for several reasons. The first was that it was made to seem like it wasn't based on low viewership, but this would later be changed to admit this played a part in it from Craig himself, but only as a partial contributing factor, as he doesn't fully understand why the series had to come to this kind of out-of-nowhere ending after 2 seasons. There's a running thought about Disney just claiming that after...
This low-key could have been like a whole 5 season. It could have ended off of 5 season. Dead ass. 5 season.
33 episodes or 70.
They have a whole movie to itself.
That was enough, and they didn't need any more. Even if there was more being brought to the table. There was a whole 3rd season of the show that was pitched to Disney sometime during the production of the 2nd season that Disney said no to. It's not for the lack of quality or anything. It most likely has to do with what Disney themselves wanted from the series. Wander Over Yonder is a lot like other series where the 1st season is very episodic while season 2 starts becoming more story-based with larger connecting bits episode to episode, and for season 3, this seemed to be the plan.
Like how Gravity Falls, right? You know how Gravity Falls was 2 seasons and low-key could have been way more if Disney actually give a fuck about Gravity Falls and shit like that and not trying to hop onto another show. Gravity Falls could have been way more thing. Because, you know, it could have been off 3 journals the whole time. And then they could have made a 4th journal that nigga, he had forgot. And he said, damn. Hey, you know we got a 4th. You know I got a 4th journal, right? But the 4th journal, you have to go back in the thing and go get it where he came from. That's what a 4th journal is. And Dipper and Mabel, and I think what'd be best is Seuss and Wendy go back in there. And Forrest and them trying to help him out, and they take like at least about 7 episodes. I wish say 5, but people like say 5. It took them 5 episodes to get back.
Disney doesn't.
And it took Stanley for a whole season to come back. Blah 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 blah. On some stupid shit.
To want this. And over the past decade, we've seen this more and more where story-based series either have to try and wrap up their story if they are more serialized, or in worse cases, get cut off from finishing at all and be done after a quick couple of seasons. Or an even worse case, ending on a cliffhanger. Craig clearly had plans for this 3rd season of the show and knew where it was heading. He just didn't know where Disney was heading because despite still getting support in promoting season 2 and there being a decent-sized fan base, the show was still going to come to an end. It didn't matter if there was a sizable audience, solid reviews of the series, and the literal name of Craig McCracken making the series. If it's not up to the unfair way Disney sees and treats their properties over the past 15 years specifically in these cases, then it ends up falling into the category of not having a place on their network, and eventually may be treated like it never existed.
That's why you think Disney. That's why, and you wonder why Disney is actually bringing back Phineas and Ferb. Y'all realize that shows that never shouldn't ever got canceled in the beginning with, it's finally now, you know, it's coming back. Phineas and Ferb. All of a sudden, I think Gravity Falls is supposed to come back too. So I mean, at the point, y'all know what y'all should have did. If you want to end off season 2, make it season 3 of them as adults. Make a summary of them they went to prom and all that shit and bullshit. Like, you know how fucking Big Mouth did in Netflix? Hey, clap up the Big Mouth because I watched it like 2 days ago. Amazing that series. Disney, I don't know. Saying it's out of Disney. It's 50-50 Disney. You'll be into a good show, and here come Disney. Swipe, you ain't getting that shit back. And then they be like down on their luck. They be like, digging in their pocket. They like, let's bring back Phineas and Ferb. Even though we already finished the show already. They going to college. They already going to college. What is you gonna do for this? Look at them around. And they said, we back, baby. Oh, it's not gonna feel the same. It would never feel the same. You can't do that. You just can't do that.
At all. We've talked about several series like this recently, and yes, it has led me down this rabbit hole of other Disney Channel and Disney XD shows that had not so great fates. This sucks any way you look at it, though. Craig clearly had this vision that wasn't able to be fully explored.
Wander Over Yonder will be right back.
Get a taste of new Lipton Fusions, made with 50% less sugar than regular sodas.
Oil change?
Hey, how long will this take?
But-
I'm kind of in a rush.
Just 10 minutes.
Get out, Tim.
We're back with Wander Over Yonder.
Most of the way through the show's second season, on March 5th, 2016, Craig initially spoke on things regarding Wander Over Yonder on his Tumblr, saying, "I've been seeing a lot of speculation lately on whether or not Wander will be returning for a third season. Unfortunately, the answer is no. About a year ago, we presented a pitch for a Season 3 arc that promised to bring our characters together in new, unexpected, and hilarious ways. And just as Season 2 evolved from Season 1, we had a really exciting approach to evolving Season 3 even further. We had plans for new characters, the return of old characters, and even a bit of backstory. We were all really excited about the new direction, and so were our bosses at Disney XD and TVA. Unfortunately, the higher-up bosses of bosses at Disney decided not to continue with the show. It's not that they didn't like Wander, they just felt that 2 seasons and 80 cartoons was enough, and they didn't see the need to produce any more. For the record, this decision had nothing to do with the ratings performance of Season 2. Truth be told, we were informed that we wouldn't be continuing before Season 2 even premiered. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the fans who spread the word about Wander and encouraged people to try and watch it on air. I know this news is kind of a bummer, but the recent surge in fandom from My Fair Haiti, along with our win at the Annies for Outstanding Children's Series, has really made me and the whole Wander team feel that we are ending on a high note. So thanks, and as Wander says, we gave it a go, put on a heck of a show, and did a lot of fun stuff we'll get to laugh about later. And for those keeping track, we have 7 half hours left of Season 2 that will wrap up sometime in June. Thanks for watching and wandering. So before the series would come to its official end,
Appreciate it for
announced to all the fans that the series is over.
Oh
after
shit!
the last
Why do it does that?
release. Of course, fans of the series were
Fuck.
happy. There were campaigns and petitions
Oh,
created
fuck
to
it does
save the
that.
show.
Look.
No matter what, this would be the end of Wander Over Yonder. In a series all about joy, at least we
I would like to say appreciate for the show. I can always go back and watch it sometimes when I get bored. I really appreciate that. That's I like that shit. That shit just a show that I can always come back and relate as a nice person, you know. And it always bring me back to my nicer side and all that stuff. You know, I'm a nice guy and all that. You know, that don't, you know, but people just push me to be something different. But I'm really, truly in heart down inside, I'm really a nice guy. So, you know.
we can be happy about all the adventures we
And I could relate with Wanda.
And at least we didn't get left on a major cliffhanger that would make the pain worse. Sure, there was tons more to explore, but it doesn't end at a point that fills you with disappointment. All we do know is that there were plans for more, and that we would fully get everything wrapped up. But for what there is, both seasons of the show, along with the shorts, are still pretty great, and worth your while to go and watch. It's not my favorite series made by Craig, but it's one that made me happy to experience because of all the love that did get put into it and the joy it got to spread while it was on the air. I feel it may hurt a little more because of the origins of the character just being a silly little dude that he was sketching and creating for a while before it was developed into a full-on series, but at least Wander got to be a fully fleshed out cartoon. And we also got another really fun and wholesome series from such a legendary creative. While Wander Over Yonder was Craig's first cartoon project with Disney, it looks like it may just be his last with them given all annoyances losses of not getting to finish the series the way he wanted, and for what has happened over the years since the series ended. So for now, while this show came to an end and Craig's next series, Kid Cosmic, is over, Craig's future seems to be back with Cartoon Network essentially, as he is working on and a part of the reboots and or continuations for both the Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. So while we may be going back to more reboots like we always seem to do these days, I'm just glad that Craig is the one on board to get back into his creations and be a part of the production in general, especially for the Powerpuff Girls. Honestly, after the first reboot and then that almost made CW show, this is fine, but I'll talk more about the Powerpuff Girls another time, maybe later this year, who knows. What I do know is that I want to hear from you on your thoughts on the series. Were you a fan of Wander over Yonder? Did you want to see
Facts. I was a big fan of this stuff, but I used to be home, come home to school, used to be watching this shit too, bro. It used to come around 6 o'clock, bro. Soon as a nigga come for football practice, straight go in my room, put that shit on, bro. Or if I'm coming from my grandma's house, it's getting on the TV. I don't want nothing else to be on the TV. Regular show come at 4 o'clock. So I ain't had to worry about regular show or nothing like that. K-Patowski come right around 8, 9-ish. Because they'll bring back like shows from earlier this morning. So this is the show. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure to comment, subscribe, follow, social media did pop up on the screen. We're on the road to 300. I'm out. And yeah, your boy out.